She came to the blind date wearing a wedding dress, and everyone laughed, but no one knew the truth she carried in her trembling hands or the storm she had survived to stand there at all. The hotel lobby lights shimmered like judgmental eyes as she stepped forward, clutching the satin hem that trailed behind her like a ghost of the life she never got to live. Some people whispered, some pointed, a few recorded her on their phones, and someone snickered loudly enough for the entire room to hear. But before anyone could speak again, destiny shifted. Quietly, suddenly, irrevocably. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps stories like these reach more hearts. Her name was Madeline Hart, a 29-year-old nurse from Denver, Colorado. And today was supposed to be nothing more than a blind date her friend had set up to help her start life again. Nobody expected her to arrive at the upscale downtown restaurant wearing a full, lace-embroidered wedding gown. She hadn't planned it either. Just hours before, she had opened the cedar box under her bed where the dress had been kept for 2 years. Crisp, untouched, haunting. She had bought it for a wedding that never happened, for a groom who never showed, for a future that evaporated with a single phone call saying he wasn't ready for commitment after all. She had never worn it until today. Something inside her whispered that she needed closure. One final goodbye to the version of herself that kept waiting for an apology that never came. As she walked to the dining area reserved for the blind date event, she could feel the weight of every stare pressing into her skin. A few guests covered their mouths, some laughed openly. A woman in a glittery blue dress whispered to her friend, staring straight at Madeline as if she were a circus act. But Madeline kept moving, even though her heart trembled with every step. She felt ridiculous. She felt exposed, but above all, she felt free for the first time in 2 years. The host looked genuinely confused as she approached, trying not to show it. The soft clinking of glasses and the mellow jazz playing in the background contrasted painfully with her dramatic entrance. When the host finally directed her to table 8, her assigned blind date, she noticed that the man sitting there was not the one laughing. Instead, he was watching her with a stillness that made her heart knock against her ribs. His sharp suit, his calm posture, the quiet power in his expression, everything about him felt out of place, as though he belonged on the cover of a business magazine rather than at a casual dating event. But before Madeline could speak or even reach the table, a group of young men near the bar burst into laughter. One clapped mockingly. Another shouted that she must have mistaken the restaurant for a chapel. Someone else said maybe her groom had run away. Again. Their laughter echoed, bouncing off marble walls and ricocheting straight into her chest. Madeline froze. The room spun. Humiliation spread through her veins like poison. Then suddenly, a single, deliberate sound cut through the room. A clap. Slow, firm, confident. Everyone stopped. The man at table 8 stood up, tall, composed, steady, and continued clapping, louder this time, until every eye shifted from her to him. His applause wasn't mocking, it was appreciative, respectful, almost protective. Then others joined, first one woman, then a waiter, then a couple near the window. The laughter died, the room changed, and Madeline realized she wasn't standing alone anymore. His name, she would later learn, was Christopher Hale, a quietly powerful CEO who had bought the restaurant months prior, though no one in the room recognized him. He had come to the blind date event not because he needed help meeting women, but because his sister insisted he needed to be around real people again after a painful divorce that had hardened him more than he liked to admit. Madeline hesitated, her breath quivering, unsure whether to stay or run. But Christopher walked toward her slowly, as though approaching something fragile yet extraordinary. He offered his arm, not saying a word. She had asked for no dialogue format, but the gesture alone was its own language. And for the first time in years, Madeline let someone help her stand tall. They sat at table 8, and the restaurant seemed to breathe differently around them. Madeline explained, not in dramatic detail but in simple truths, why she wore the dress. Not for attention, not for theatrics, but because she needed closure to finally let go of a heartbreak that had shaped too much of her life. She wanted to feel beautiful in it once, even if it meant being laughed at. Christopher listened, truly listened, with a seriousness that surprised her. He wasn't looking at her dress or her tears or the people around them. He was looking at her courage. He admired the strength it took to show up after so much pain, and she admired the gentleness hidden beneath his stoic expression. As the evening went on, the shame that had gripped her slowly melted away. The restaurant, once hostile and echoing with laughter, now felt warm, safe, almost cinematic in the soft glow of candlelight. Christopher shared his own scars. The betrayal by someone he trusted, the loneliness of rebuilding life when everyone assumed he had everything. They were two broken people sitting in a room full of strangers, finding solace in the unexpected familiarity of shared wounds. By the end of dinner, something inside Madeline had shifted. She no longer felt like the woman whose life stopped 2 years ago. She felt like someone new, someone brave, someone ready to rebuild again. Not because she met a CEO, but because she had finally chosen herself. Near the end of the evening, as they walked out into the crisp Colorado night, Christopher offered her a gentle, steady look. Not romantic, not possessive, just grateful, as if meeting her had reminded him that even after the harshest winters, people still bloom. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly keeps storytelling alive. Before we end, please comment below. Everyone deserves a second chance. Thank you for watching and supporting meaningful stories.